We serve an awesome God. He's our shelter, our provider. In the valley of the shadows, when my plans turn to dust, when I'm walking through the unknown, in the waiting I will trust. When the sky falls, when the flood comes, let the rushing waters rise. When my soul is worn and weary, and I got no place to hide, I know you won't let me go. Fortress for my soul, my helper, you are my shelter, you're my hope, my anchor in the storm, love unbreakable, my helper, you are my shelter. On the mountain you surround me, my comfort and my song. Your promise is my refuge, 'cause I know your love is strong. You embrace me from the ashes, set my feet on solid ground. I know you won't let me go. The fortress for my soul, my helper, you are my shelter, you're my hope, my anchor in the storm, love unbreakable, my helper, you are my shelter. You are the way, you are the truth, you are the breath inside of my lungs. You give me strength when I am weak, you are the one who lifts me up. You are the way, you are the truth, you are the breath inside of my lungs. You give me strength when I am weak, you are the one who lifts me up. I know you won't let me go. Fortress for my soul, my helper, you are my shelter, you're my hope, my anchor in the storm, love unbreakable, my helper, you are my shelter, my helper, you are my shelter, my helper, you are my shelter. With authority you've spoken, and you set the captives free. You're the King who came to serve, you're the God who washed our feet. You're the one who took our burdens, and you bled upon the cross. In your kindness and your mercy, you became the way for us. Forgetting all our sins, you remember all your promises. You are amazing, more than amazing. Forever our God, you're more than enough. You are amazing, more than amazing. Forever our God, you're more than that last stanza. You are amazing, more than amazing, forever our God, you're more than enough. You are amazing, more than amazing, forever our God, you're more than enough. You are amazing, you are amazing, you are amazing, you are amazing.
I love you, Lord, and I lift my voice to worship you, oh my soul, rejoice. Take joy, my King, in what you hear. May it be a sweet, sweet sound in your ear. Majesty, worship in majesty. Unto Jesus be all glory, honor, and praise. Majesty, kingdom, authority, now from his throne unto his own, his anthems raise. So exalt, lift up on high the name Jesus. Magnify, come glorify Christ Jesus the King. I've been a full-time pastor since 2009. It was right before the earthquake. We couldn't go to church. I had no gas money, and we went to a Baptist church about like 20 minutes from our house, and I didn't have any gas. We had a Land Rover that was a gas guzzler, so we didn't have any. I didn't have any money to drive us there. So then I thought, well, God, what am I going to do? So we missed one Sunday, and I thought, well, God, what am I going to do? I can't miss Sunday again. I can't miss church again. What am I going to do? He said, well, just start your own church. So then I started a small church at the house we were renting at that time. And now it's at our permanent house that we've made. And right now our associate pastor is running it, and we stay in contact to know how the church is going. My wife had been there in December. And I had been in Haiti since 2004 to 2015. We would come back periodically for seminary, or my daughter was going to come to school. Now, many of the men here know me because they went to the retreat with me. They all know I'm a little loud, and but they put up with me and they got patience for me. So if they give me a hard time about that, you'll know why. So it's only by the grace of God that I've been able here to speak here today. I haven't really preached on a Sunday morning since 2015 at my church in Haiti. But it's just funny how God works, because last August, Brian had invited me to VBS for my son Brian, and he was passing things out at work, and I was like, VBS, okay, oh, well, I guess I could have Brian. Then it said free backpack. I'm like, okay, Brian's going. so because I didn't want to have to go get school supplies. So I would just say I wouldn't be here without Brian and without God. Because of Brian, I get the chance here to be here and to minister to all of you. It's a great privilege to bring God's Word. Now, we're going to talk about two different passages. The first one is Amos 9, 11 through 15. We're mainly going to focus on verse 14 and 15. And I'll wait for all of you to find your Bibles. And This passage is talking about the restoration of Israel. They had gone through various trials with different people taking them over and destroying the area. And so at this time, Amos is speaking to the king about how he will raise up Israel and restore it. It says, "In that day I will raise up the booth of David that is fallen, and repair its breaches, and raise up its ruins, and rebuild it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom, and all the nations who are called by my name, declares the Lord, who does it. Behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes him who sows the seed. The mountains shall drip sweet wine, and all the hills shall flow with it." Now here's the two main verses. It says, "I will restore the fortunes of my people Israel, and they shall rebuild the ruined cities and inhabit them. They shall plant vineyards and drink their wine, and they shall make gardens and eat their fruit. I will plant them on their land, and they shall never again be uprooted out of the land that I have given them." Now the secondary passage is in Revelation 3, 7 and 8. It's talking about the church of Philadelphia. I'll let you guys get there. It says, "And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia," writes, "the words of the Holy One, the true One, who has the key of David, who opens and no one will shut, who shuts and no one opens. I know your works. Behold, I have set before you an open door, which no one is able to shut. I know that you have but little power, and yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name." Restoration is the theme of this sermon. Just like the Israelites, God will restore this church, just like He restored Israel. And here are 4 ways that this church can be restored. The first one would be to pray. And now I know everyone's praying at this church, and this is just the first step that I have here. The second way for restoration would be discipleship, building up people to do more things in the church. And the third way would be helps or workers, so just trying to get people more involved with the church. And the fourth way would be through giving tithes and offerings. Now the first one, let's go over the first one. Prayer is the key for restoration in this church. Fervent prayer by this church is needed to begin that. We can also see this in Matthew 7:7 and John 14. So we'll start with Matthew 7:7. It says, "And I tell you, ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it will be opened to you." And John 14:13 says, "Whatever you ask in my name, this I will do, that the Father may be glorified." Without prayer, we can do nothing. He's the only one that can do it. Now, I know the church seems small today, but we know that God has the ability to bring people here and to use all of us to do the work that He has for us. He would never give us things that would not be good for us. Like if we prayed for $1 million. He wouldn't give it to us because He knew we weren't ready for it. Because many people pray for various things. But our focus should be on this church and restoring it and filling the church and having various programs. And I know that God will do that because I've seen the love in this church from when Brian and I first came here. I always felt like it was at home, and then everybody was so polite and so nice to know that I could feel comfortable here. I could come with my son who's disabled and be able to feel comfortable and loved by everyone here. And I'm so thankful that all of you have done that. Now the second one is discipleship. Discipling people and outreach are things this church can do to grow by inviting people or just building others up. I had a pastor in Haiti. He spoke to me for 2 years before I said, okay, I'll be a pastor. Because I was there, I was still doing the same thing. A year or two after we got married, where I was kind of on my own. We were teaching English, and I was just kind of going to church when Sundays I could. And then this pastor would come to our house and do a Bible study. So then because I grew up in the church, I knew all the verses he's talking about, and then he'd come and he'd preach something. Yeah, I know that, and then things would just be getting harder and harder and harder, and at that time, I tried to listen to him, but I just didn't care. I was like, I don't care. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the pastor. I want to be a sports writer or a TV guy. I want to go back and then be on TV or write sports. And it just seemed like every single time that I didn't do it, it got harder and harder and harder. It's kind of like a Jonah experience. He keeps you in the fish until you say yes. I thought about this has been happening to me recently here because I had not really accepted that I was supposed to be a pastor somewhere, and I was kind of afraid to leave the church that I was at, or I was afraid people didn't want to accept me. Because I remember we're coming back from the men's retreat, and then Brian's talking to me about, oh, you should try for the pastor. And then I'm like, well, I don't know if I should do that. I don't know. You think they're going to like me or this? Oh, snap out of it. Just do it. And Brian always just didn't have any nonsense. He's just like, get over it. That's the word. Get over it. So then I thought, he goes, Lance, you got to apply and just get over it. So then when I was able to apply, and then I was able to get this chance here because I never thought I would really have a chance at a American church to be able to bring the gospel. We can also see discipleship in Mark 16, 15 and 16. It says, go into all the world and proclaim to the whole creation. Whoever believes and is baptized will be saved, but whoever does not believe will be condemned. And also Matthew 28, 19 and 20. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, teaching them all that I have commanded you. And behold, I am with you always, even until the end of the age. We can see in the Matthew 28, 19 passage that it says, make disciples of all nations. So whether I'm in Haiti and people are being saved and we're training them, or whether it's here at this church training people to build them up, to find out what God has for them. Because we all have a call on our lives, and God has a job for all of us to do. And this church needs to build up members, and the younger generation needs to be involved here more in order to finish the vision that the deacons and the leaders have for this church and where it is going. Many examples of this outreach would be doing the VBS, doing a cookout, Brian's film thing on once a month. I think these are all great ideas to get people in the church, to get people talking to members, and in that way you can build a church and build a vision and let people know who you are and what the vision of this church is. And there's many ideas that this can happen. We can also see in Romans 10, 14, and 15, how then will they call on him who they have not believed? And how are they to believe in him whom they have never heard? And how are they to hear without someone preaching? And how are they to preach unless they are sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of those who preach the good news. This shows that we all need to be out there evangelizing, whether it's in small ways or putting a hand on a brother's shoulder to encourage them going through a hard time, or just those at work that just are in the middle. I have someone at work that he was at church, and he said he used to run the sound for his church, and then they get caught into sin, and then they feel like they can't come back. But we need to encourage them to come back to church, to put Jesus first again, to remember their first love, so that they can be part of the solution instead of part of the problem, where they're out in the world living their own lives, living in sin, instead of doing what God called them to do, or to live in the way that they should. The passage also shows what we should be doing, being examples to those who don't know God and Jesus. Jesus is the only way for them not to go to hell. But if we don't tell them, who will? We need to be that example, to do the outreach, whether it's at work or with our families or at church. Because if we don't, some people we're the only Jesus they see. And then we don't need them to be condemned when we had the chance to tell them about Jesus so that they may be saved. The third part of this restoration is helps or workers. At other churches, they have something called the Ministry of Helps, where all the workers meet together and figure out whether they're going to do a children's ministry or be an associate pastor, have a young adult class, or whatever the classes are. They meet for training, and also so that all the teachers and the leaders can be on the same page. We can see this in James 2:18. But someone will say, "You have faith and I have works. Show me your faith apart from your works, and I will show you my faith by my works." After you disciple people in the church and new members that become saved, we need to encourage new members to be involved in the church so that their faith may be shown, so that they can show the faith they have to other people. And most people want to help, but they don't know how. And we just need to encourage everyone to do their part and to put Jesus first and to help those who are in need and help the members here at this church if they need anything. We just need to encourage them to do that and to know what God has told us to do. And another example, I'm going to talk about the retreat again. So all of us went on the retreat, and then when we came back, we had been here, and Brother John was here. Brother John Ranowski was here, and we were unloading the trucks and with all the stuff that was inside. And then Brother Robert told me to come in here, and he was like, "Yes, Lance, this church needs prayer. Just come in and pray, because we really need prayer." So what I did is I went to each chair, walked around all the pews, and prayed with my hands over the chairs. I just felt a real burden for this church, and my heart just ached when I came in here, and I could feel the pain that was in this church. But we know that God will restore this church, and we won't have the pain anymore. But I just wanted to let you know that I was in here, and when I came in here that day after the retreat, that's just what I really felt. Like my heart was just crying out. Now this brings us to Revelation 3, 7, and 8. And I'll read it again, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. "And to the angel of the church in Philadelphia writes, the words of the Holy One, the true One, who has the key of David, who opens and who shuts, and no one will open. I know your works. Behold, I have set before you an open door, which no one is able to shut. I know that you have but little power, and yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. This church has little power, but your church is not dead. It will be restored again. All things will work out. I can see it now. The church filled with people, and a big youth group, and a full children's church. It won't happen overnight. Just keep the faith, and God will make a way when there is no way. Right now it seems like there is no way, but God will make the way. He always does. And we just need to keep the faith and to know that He'll restore this church to what it once was. Because when I was here with Brian at that VBS, it was a full church. And I was so thankful to be here and to see all the leaders. Now, many of them may be gone, but we need to build up new leaders to accomplish the vision of this church so that it won't be hurting any longer, and that these kids and the youth can build up the church and to have it be a thriving church, and to know that God is with us here. He sees your pain, and He's always with you. So you just need to know that He's there for you, and that He sees this. He sees the church. He sees everyone here and everyone's pain. And only with Him can we do it. We can't do it without Him. Many times I think, okay, well, all right, Lance, you're going to go preach and you got to go do this. And then if we don't go with God, then we're just doing it in the flesh, where you get up and you say, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to help these people. I'm going to preach the gospel. I think I know what I need to do. But then we're just going to fall on our face. We just need to seek God and have faith to know that He'll restore the church. He'll restore everyone here. He'll build us up to be bigger disciples and to be bigger examples for this area. Let's go to part 4. We're going to talk about giving. It's stated in Malachi 3:10. Bring the full tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house, and thereby put me to the test, says the Lord of hosts. I will not open the window of heaven for you and pour down a blessing until there's no more need. When we do our part, God will do his part. The full tithe is what it says. I've had a hard time in the past sometimes paying tithe. For like 6 months, I had a hard time paying tithe. And then about a week or so ago, I just got a little money, $150, something like that. So then I put my tithe in the offering. And then I needed money badly. And then it showed up. And then what did I do? I took my tithe out again, and I paid it. And then my check came in, and then I got my check. And then my check came in, and then I took my tithe out of that. And when we're faithful, God will be faithful. And this says food in my house. How many of us have food in our house? And how many of us don't want to not have enough? I know many times in Haiti we would have food, but sometimes it wouldn't be enough. We'd just be scrounging to eat. But when we tithe, we know that God will always provide. Many times it was just at the last minute. And when we tithe, it gives God the chance to give it back to us. It says, test me if I will not open the windows of heaven for you and pour down a blessing until there is no need. This church will have no more need. If we put God first and know that He can bless it, and then you won't hear about being in the red anymore, that God will provide. He is our provider. He will do it. You just need to put Him first. And to know that when we do that, that's when He has a chance to work. When we provide our tithes and our offerings, that's when we have the chance to get God to intervene in our lives. And this, through the tithes and offerings, it can be a way to fill all the needs for whatever you need, whether it's a pastor or for a youth program. He's able. We just need to ask, and we need to pay our tithes and offerings to know that He will be there to provide it. I'd encourage all the church here to function in that way and to know that God is here with you today and that He will be with you and provide for all your needs. And that this restoration is going to happen at this church. Now, thank you for allowing me to have this chance. I'd like to invite John up to help do the invitation. For those of you who may be feeling like you need restoration, you need a better relationship, or you need to accept Jesus today, we know that when we put Him first, He will make a way.
You are amazing.